Hi guys, this is Mainely Watches and I'm Captain Nick. Thanks for joining me today. If you haven't noticed, the last couple of episodes have had a distinctly German theme. And I thought I'd continue with that today, and we'll take a look at this watch here, which is the STOWA Marine Classic 40. Now, a couple episodes ago, I did the STOWA Flieger Classic, also the 40 millimeter, and I showed this watch, and we looked at them briefly side by side, and I noted there were a lot of similarities. Basically, they're using the same case, same movement, but obviously different dials. So I thought good time to start looking at this guy here, which is their marine watch. Now, STOWA started manufacturing a marine observation watch in 1939, and I'll put a quick shot up here for you on the screen of the watch. And this particular watch was a pocket watch that they started with. And according to STOWA's historical info, only 288 of these original observation watches were built, and they were built for the Kriegsmarine. Now, the Marine watch kind of differed from the Flieger in that these were designed for seagoing use as a handheld chronometer. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole importance of chronometers and ship's navigation. I mean, I'm a ship captain, so obviously it's quite close to my heart, but let's just say timekeeping was absolutely vital back in the early days. Not so much today, where we have global positioning systems, satellite navigation and electronic chart displays, but in the past, having accurate time was an absolute necessity to determine a ship's position at sea. When John Harrison developed the first marine chronometer, chronometers were used on board ship to determine one's position through celestial navigation, and absolutely essential to determine your longitude. And the ships traditionally had the ship's clock, which was a chronometer, but it was a big bulky affair, kept in a box, very well protected because they were not particularly waterproof. And it didn't really help the navigator who was out on deck shooting the stars with a sextant, or shooting the ship's, getting a line of position from the stars. And that's where timekeeping was essential. So when STOWA developed the pocket watch chronometer, the whole idea was that the ship's officer could synchronize their handheld chronometer with a ship's clock, then go out, do their sight, and get the time exactly. And you've got to remember, 1 second equates to about a mile. So, if, for example, a seaman on a conning tower of a submarine, if he was out shooting his sights, and he had to run all the way back down and then figure out his time, he could be out by miles. So having that handheld watch to determine exact time that he was taking his sights was very important. So STOWA developed the Marine Observation Watch, and they were characterized by having a white dial. Now, those watches were, those pocket watches actually were loomed. This one is not loomed, and that's kind of a sad distinction, I would say. I would have loved had they done a fully loomed white dial on here, but they did not. So, fast forward 2005, after STOWA launched a limited edition hand-wound watch, they released the Marine Automatic, and they were originally provided with ETA 2824 movements, and then later editions with the Sellita SW 200. So this watch has been in production for 20 years, and since that release, the initial release in 2005, the watch has remained basically unchanged. I mean, this is exactly as you see it. They have done several special editions. They've done one with a beautiful silver enamel dial, which is absolutely stunning, and you can get Arabic or Roman numerals without a date, without a STOWA logo. So they can be fully customized, but essentially this watch remains a classic. It is something suitable for everyday use, it's easy to read, and very robust. These watches were designed with legibility in mind, and they maintain a very classical aesthetic. So it is a very nicely finished watch with a lot of attention to detail. You can see that thermally blued hands on here, just gorgeous. And it really comes at a reasonable price. So if you are looking for something like that, I would strongly urge you to consider putting this STOWA on your short list. Now, pricing on these, as I said, they're still available. Right now, this watch with the Sellita movement starts at 715 euros, which is about 850 US dollars. You can also upgrade it to the top grade movement with the blue screws and some Geneva stripes on the rotor, which you see here. And that's about another 120 some odd dollars. So you'll be looking at around 850 to 950 USD if you're importing it to the States, plus whatever the duties are now. I've kind of lost the plot there. So, you know, roughly $1,000, and you're getting a absolutely classic watch from a legacy German manufacturer. So if we get into this guy here, the specs quickly, the case diameter is 40 millimeters. The thickness of the watch, as I measure it on my calipers, is coming in at 10.2, so nice and thin. You have a 20 millimeter lug width, and the lug-to-lug is coming in at 48.6 millimeters. So quite a compact size. Weight on the wrist is 65 grams with the strap, so it's a very lightweight watch. And the watch is water resistant to 50 meters. You have a fully polished 316 case. Now, as I mentioned when I reviewed the Flieger Classic 40, they are using the same case, but the Flieger has the brushed case and the Marine has the fully polished case. And you can see it is a very beautifully polished case. On the back side, you have a exhibition case showing that lovely movement. And this here is the Sellita, and it is fully screwed down, and you can see you've got all the relevant markings on here. And this one is shown on the original STOWA blue leather strap, which just works beautifully with these blued hands. And if I can get it to catch the light, you can see how these hands are thermally blued, and they are just striking. Here you go. I have to hold it reflected off the window. Sapphire crystal is flat, and it is treated with anti-reflective coating. You can see the dial, of course, is white, and you have painted on numbers and indices. Very, very legible, black and white. It's very stark. They've put a small date window down at the 6 o'clock, which I think looks very tasteful. It doesn't overpower the watch, but as I say, you can get these without the date if you're so inclined. The crystal is 36 millimeters in diameter. This crown is around a 7 millimeter crown, so it's a good size crown, and it's that same onion crown that the Flieger had. Very simple, just it's not a screw-in crown, and yeah, just a very classic, simple watch. For fun, I do have, look at this. Can you tell? This is a clone, or I shouldn't say a clone, it's a homage. This watch here is made by Tissel. It's a Korean brand. It's around $200, so it's a cheaper clone. I think I flashed this a few times on the channel. They do have blued hands on this. I don't know if they're thermally blued or just painted. They've gone with a brushed case. You can see when I compare the faces side by side, the white enamel, it's just not as pure as the white on the STOWA. It's a little more eggshell, and the contrast between the white and the black is not as good. Obviously the crown is a little different. I think they've probably just used a stock crown. They didn't go through the trouble with a onion crown, but very similar profile, dimensions. This one has the Miyota movement in it. So you can see this Miyota. It's a 9 series Miyota spinning around in there. Nice watch for the money. It certainly does scratch the itch. I cannot fault this one. I've put this, I believe this is a Fluco. Yeah, this is a Fluco strap I've put this watch on. Very nice soft leather. This is a black pebbled leather. But I thought it was just kind of fun to compare it next to the watch it homages. If you guys want me to do a full comparison between the two, I can. Keep in mind the STOWA is 4 times the price of the Tissell. And you've got the German watch with a Swiss movement and a Korean watch here with the Japanese movement. But, you know, nevertheless, I think the Tissell is it's a handsome watch, and you know, if I want to wear a classy looking dress watch that's inexpensive, I'm not afraid of getting scratched up, I can certainly strap this guy on. So that's the Tissell. But yeah, getting back to the STOWA, again, it's just it's a classic. I mean, beautiful watches, and yeah, I would highly recommend them. I don't really have many negatives or complaints about it. The watch runs beautifully. It's very accurate. If there was one thing I would improve, and you know, if somebody from STOWA is listening to me, I would love to see this with a lume dial. That would be really cool. I know it might make it a little more flashy, maybe even just a thin application of lume on the dial, but boy, that would be really neat to have this fully lumed. Otherwise, it's just a real classic, understated, simple watch, and yeah, I love it. So don't be afraid to check out STOWA. They make some really great watches. On the wrist today, I have my Grand Seiko SBGA 229, and this is on a Erica strap with one of her limited edition Great Wave buckles. Absolute beast of a diver watch. Love the Grand Seiko. And, you know, spring drive, you can see how smooth this thing is running. Just gorgeous. So, that is the STOWA Marine Classic 40. As always, guys, my video is not sponsored. This is my own watch. These are my own thoughts and opinions. I'm not receiving compensation from anybody for doing this. I just do it because I love watches. I really hope you guys will subscribe to the channel if you're new here and have not done so. I try to push out new content every week, so please subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot, and don't be afraid to drop me any comments. I love hearing from you guys, and I love to hear your thoughts. So yeah, till next week, I will be back with another video. I hope you enjoyed this, and stay safe out there, and thank you for watching.